Hey, what's up, guys? This is Christian here. Hope you enjoyed this conversation that I had with Josh Lustig, the one and only Josh Lustig. Before we get into this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about this video's sponsor. That's, of course, Lead Heroes, you guys. Lead Heroes has got you covered when it comes to telemarketing leads and virtual staffing. If you need help with telemarketed leads, whether you're hiring a custom caller to do cold calling for you, preset appointments, live transfers, they've got you covered for that. You can pay by the hour, so one of their trained telemarketers can make calls for you, or you can just pay per lead. They just really got a very diverse array of options for that. They also have a very, very strong value proposition for virtual staffing. If you need a virtual assistant, but maybe you can't afford one necessarily, hiring somebody locally in the States with all of that, with what that comes with, they can use one of their trained virtual staffing assistants and set you up with it, where they've gone through the process, right? Hiring people is difficult. They have gone through the process to essentially weed out the bad people, make sure they get the best quality people, and they can set you up with one of their great trained and proficient people that's actually part of their culture with their training and their expertise. Just because you watch this video, they're going to give you 10% off any order you make on the website. Link can be found in the description. Enjoy the video. Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, this is Christian Brindle here. We're back with another video, and today I have a very special guest, somebody who's been on the channel a couple different times before. He's a friend of the channel. I have Mr. Josh Lustig. Josh, how you doing today?
Hey, Christian, I'm doing good. It's always a good day when I can talk to my friend Christian, so thanks for having me.
He's buttering me up. That's what he's doing right now. Well, hey, I'm really excited to have this conversation with you. I've been looking forward to it. We're going to kind of jump into some really good topics, and kind of segue into some real valuable, actionable information for you guys that you can take away from this video. I mean, anytime we can get Josh in a video, it's always going to be value. That's one thing I've learned through, I think it's our third video we've done together, and they've all been really, really incredibly valuable tips and, little gold nuggets that can be picked up at the end. So, but one thing we're going to be talking about is limiting mindset. We're going to be talking about a couple of other things that, kind of go hand in hand with kind of what Josh is teaching these days. But I wanted to start off with Thrive, your Thrive event that's going to be taking place at the end of February. I'm actually going to be in attendance on that. I'm really excited to come. It was so close by to me. I mean, I think Boise's 4 or 5 hours. If I decided to drive, I'm not driving, I'm flying. But and so I was like, I'm correct. It's insane for me not to go with the convenience factor. Talk a little bit about Thrive and what it is, what people can expect, what kind of content can they expect to absorb while they're there. Just kind of dive into Thrive for a second, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure, absolutely. So I love the topic of today. We're talking about, limiting beliefs. Christian told me before we jumped on here, you're like, dude, I've talked to, a lot of agents all over the map. I know, Christian, you have a lot of relationships. And one thing that we consistently, I do as well with not just insurance agents, but people in general, is all this limiting beliefs. And some people will hear that or hear mindset or hear any of that and go, they think that it's just, a bunch of fluff. I'm going to challenge that line of thinking, because everything that we do in life is challenged by, what we're actually believing about ourselves and about the world around us. So we're going to dive into that topic today, and it actually goes right along with Thrive. So sure, I appreciate letting me take a second here to, discuss that. So excited to have you out there. I know Eric Fierro is going to be there, Joanna Wyckoff. There's only 8 tickets left to Thrive, by the way, on the free tickets. And Eugene Marchenko just scooped up number 8. So there's only 7 now. So I'm so excited. Eugene. We're going to be having some fun discussions and networking. So yeah, Thrive, Christian, it's, a little bit about it. There's 3 main pillars of what the curriculum is taught. And again, it's an event, but it's not a conference. There's a lot of value in conferences. There's a lot of value in roundtables. There's a lot of value in all types of events. This is a little different. This is a training seminar. So it's going very, very deep on several subjects, 3 in particular. Number 1 is upgrading your mindset. It's all about how do we get the confidence to be certain of our success in 2022 and in life in general. What's our roadmap? What do we actually want out of life? And do we really believe that we're going to achieve that? People tell me all the time, well, I'm not a camera person. Like, how do I get on camera? I'm not that person. No, you absolutely are. You physically can get on a camera, smile, and talk. Like, it's not difficult. It's just something that we need to get over and get past. We get so in our heads. So that's today's conversation. The second thing about Thrive is we're going to be going into a lot of sales skills, right? In today's world, I sure have found that conversational selling is way better, where it's just a conversation. And there's a very particular way and tonality that we, in our office, ask questions. We dive deeper. We get the prospect to sell us rather than us trying to sell them all day. And it's a kind of not reverse psychology, but it's a definitely different way than most people have been taught how to sell. So we're going to go through, word for word scripting and call flow and all that inside of the event. We're also going to practice. I don't want to just take a few notes, but I want people to leave feeling that they've got this thing, then go back home and just implement it. And then the third thing is all about the marketing. It's all about online marketing. It's something that I'm maybe known for the most, is kind of my marketing process. I guess it's fancy, but it's simple once you understand how to do it. And so I'm going to be teaching that start to finish. People say, do you use this in your business, Josh, or why would you teach this to other people? Yes, I use it. 750 of our, Plan G turning 65 people last year came from this particular thing that I'm going to be teaching, this particular model. So that's just a quick synopsis of what we're going to be going over. It's very detailed. There's some PDF guides I'm going to be handing out. I want it to be implementable. That's not even a word, but I just made it one. And I want to make it action items, not fluff. So I'd love for you guys to join us. There's 7 tickets left. We're doing it for free. And so I think it's a little bit crazy, but hey, that's me. And we'll somewhere put a link that you can find more information about it if you're interested in coming. So thanks for coming out, Christian. We're excited to have you.
Well, I'm excited to come, and I appreciate, the invitation. And, it's amazing because you're not going to find rooms that you can get in where these kind of topics are going to be talked about in this kind of detail for free. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like you look at some of the other things that you're going on this year, like, we got Medicare Con, which is going to be great. We're both going to be there, but it costs to get in the room. You have my event, which I'm super excited about. I think it's going to be a fantastic event. I think you all should all go, and you should all pay to go because it's not going to be free. But
absolutely. If you don't have your ticket to 6-figure yet, you got to get it right now. We can't wait to hang out with you.
And we got some great speakers like Josh, but the point of me saying that is, how many opportunities do you get to get in the room with the type of people that Josh mentioned they're going to be there, number one, but number two, be able to learn on those topics without having to pay for a ticket. That's huge and very generous of Josh. So, we'll drop a link to it down in the description, guys. So go swoop up some of those free tickets before they're all gone, because they'll go fast. I have no doubt. Well, thanks for talking about that for a second there. I wanted to kind of, talk about some of this mindset stuff, because I think there's 2 different types of people. And I'm sure that you run into this as well. There's people that they hear the mindset stuff and they implement it. There's other types of people where they're like, well, I just want to know the X's and O's, and the mindset stuff. I've heard enough of that. I don't need that. I get it. I get the point, blah, 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 but I've always been of the belief and the opinion that I think it's really important to train your mind every day, and put things into your mind that are going to, contribute towards you having that strong mental fortitude to kind of break through barriers and be able to kind of accomplish the things you actually want to accomplish. It's not just X's and O's. You have to have everything right between the ears. It's almost like if you're trying to build muscle, you can't just work out once. And
absolutely. Learning this stuff, to your point, Christian, learning this stuff isn't enough. And just hearing some motivational rah-rah, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about mindset. That has something to do with it, I guess, if you want to, if you're someone that gets jazzed by, watching a motivational video or something. Okay, great. That you can feed off that. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about training the way that you believe. It's different than the way you think even. So for example, Some people believe something about themselves that is completely false. It's not even based on fact. Actually, most of what we believe about ourselves isn't even based on a fact, good and bad. For example, I believe that someone right now could walk in and say, hey, I have 20,000 people in a stadium. Do you want to come speak for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour? I believe that if that happened, I would jump at the opportunity and say, you bet. What do you want me to talk about for an hour? And let's go. And why do I believe that? Am I better at speaking than anybody else? No, I just believe that I can do it. But one day I believe that I absolutely can do that. Now, on the flip side, if they walked in and said, hey, Josh, I'll pay you literally $30,000 to go in front of this 20,000 person stage and dance with this professional dancer. You don't have to know how to dance. They'll literally lead you through it. All you got to do is do this dance for 4 minutes, and I'll pay you 30 grand to do it. Guess what? I have a limiting belief about that I need to fix. I say Josh can't dance, and Josh won't dance, and I don't ever dance, and I'm not going to do it for 30K, maybe 100, but that'd be pushing it.
Yeah.
So you see how powerful it is. It's like, can I physically not move my feet? No, it has nothing to do with that. So in business, a lot of people will say, I can't get on video, or I can't do this, or that's not me. That's not the type of person that I am. I've always been the beautiful one, but I've never been the smart one, or vice versa. It's so ingrained in us from a very young age, most often, that we don't even realize that we can change it. We don't even realize that it's not a fact. We just say it's a fact, and so it is. So that's on the bad side and the good side of mindset. So what we talk about, Christian, I know you have the same philosophy, is training every day, but not using selling hours to train. Take 10, 15 minutes a day. When you first wake up or when you go to bed, there's exercises that I do every day to keep that sharp, to where when the going gets tough, I don't quit. I just double down because I know that I'm going to win in the end. So anyway, I get a little long-winded sometimes. I'm so passionate about the subject of what do you believe about yourself, and what do you believe about just the world around you in general, how money works, how business works, how relationships operate. A lot of those beliefs are false, and there's a way to give your mind an upgrade. So I just love the subject.
It's so true, though. One thing you mentioned there that really, just caught my attention was, so many things that people believe about themselves, right? Things they're good at that maybe they're not good at. That doesn't mean they can't be, but more importantly, things that they can't do or they're not skilled at, or whatever the case might be. It's all because at some point in their life, you can look back in their history, someone told them that. It was another person's opinion that Absolutely. They absorbed and they adopted.
Absolutely.
And it's so true. I know for me, I remember I was a kid and I was about 10, 11, 12 years old. I was always a very outgoing kid, as I bet you were too.
Sure.
I had an uncle that didn't know me very well, and I didn't see him very often. I saw him every couple of years. And when I was around him, I didn't know him very well, so I didn't talk to him much. And so he said, Christian's shy. So every time I saw him, he would talk to another person about me in my presence. He'd be like, this is Christian, but he's shy. And I started to think a second, well, maybe I'm shy.
Yep.
And I start getting a little bit more timid, and I start, not being so sure of myself talking in front of people or whatever the case might be. It's because another person projects onto you either their limiting beliefs or their opinion of you, both of which are false.
Both of which have no bearing on the actual reality of who you are. Christian, we see that all the time. Most of psychology, most of what you believe about yourself is done. Most of your brain is programmed by the time you're 7. By the time you're 7 years old,
That's
most
crazy.
of what you truly believe about yourself is already formed. Now, of course, you can fix that, but most people never focus on it. They never train themselves on what do you actually want to believe about yourself. You believe that you're shy because of that one instance. And then over time, because you thought, well, my uncle thinks I'm shy, so I better live up to that expectation in his presence. Now all of a sudden you start acting shy. And so the world starts treating you shy. And then you go to school and you're the shy kid. And then it just snowballs and snowballs until one day you can't hardly introduce yourself. Not you, I'm talking just people in general. You can't hardly introduce yourself because you feel so self-conscious that you're shy. That has nothing to do with reality. It has everything to do with one instance that was reinforced over time.
Yeah.
So it's just an insane it's insane how powerful the mind is and how little credit we give it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, it's very much a domino effect, that can impact your life more than people take the time to think about. I think, you and I both talk consistently to agents in the insurance business all the time, right? That's kind of more or less the audience that will be kind of viewing this content. And I think you touched on it a second ago with the video content. We teach a lot that doing video content, whether you're doing paid advertising, whether you're trying to put out content, whatever the case might be, do content marketing is very important. And there's nothing more powerful than video.
Absolutely.
How many, I would say, I don't know an actual statistic. They say 75% of statistics are made up on the spot. I'm about to do another one. But I think probably if I had to guess, 8 or 9 out of 10 agents that I speak to have this self-consciousness about getting on camera. And I'm like, your stuff. You're a very good communicator. You're a very good speaker. You just need to pretend like that camera's not there. Pretend like you're talking to me and flip it on and go.
Absolutely.
And you'd be amazed at how good it comes out on the other end. What do you think it is about video specifically that just makes people so uncomfortable?
Absolutely. So people do not like the sound of their own voice when they hear it, right? A lot of people don't. Like, I know I sure had to get used to the fact that really is the way that my voice sounds. It's interesting and unique. That's a nice way to put it, right? And over time, I just I developed this idea that every time I heard myself, I was so self-conscious, and no one's going to give you positive feedback. Just remember that. Like, you take a video of yourself, or someone videos you at Christmas, everybody that goes and sees a video of a family thing, the second they see themselves, they're focused on themselves, and they're watching like every move that I make, and like, is that really what I look like in reality? And it's funny because it makes people self-conscious. I've just gotten to the point where I have trained my brain to say, I don't care. I used to be terrified of what I might say or look like or do. And Christian, I assure you, there's nothing I could say or do on today's video that's going to make me feel lesser about myself. And that's not supposed to come off cocky. That's just to come across like, it is what it is. Like, this is me. I'm not putting on a facade. So if I'm just genuinely me, you can love me, you can hate me, you can turn the video off. That's not going to affect my life, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to remember that it's the same for any agent that's watching this. You got to remember that's the same for you. You're not trying, and actually you should write this down. It's not my job to attract everybody. It's not. It's my job to attract the right people. It's not my job to attract everybody. It's my job to attract the right people. So if you have that mindset, I'm literally looking to attract people that are in the right mindset of me, like the people I want to be in my life. And it's my job to repel everybody else, especially in marketing, because you don't want the people that are going to have nothing in common with your message, right? They're just going to be a pain for you as a client. You want people that really like your style. They want to be around you, that want to have a relationship with you. So I get in all my marketing, all of my video ads, my webinars, everything that I talk about, I say, be so genuine. Like, just be you. Like, I literally say, schedule time to drink water on video. I used to be terrified of, like, I reshot the video because my voice dried up and, started cracking. Well, I talked for 40 minutes with no water. What am I, a superhuman? No. So I just drank water and I got all self-conscious. Like, that's not a perfect video. No, it just makes you more relatable. So now I'm like, dude, if I need to drink water, I'll drink water. If I need to stand up and plug my laptop in because it's about to die, I'll do it. Like, it's just reality. And people seem to really connect with that. And your audience, the Medicare agents, the Medicare clients even, life insurance clients, they're going to resonate with a real human, right? So I know you're just so conversational, Christian, that people can't help but like you because you're just very real, right? Just very real.
I appreciate you saying that. I think, I think one thing that you and I have in common is I think we have a genuine interest in other people, and I think we have, a genuine interest in putting something out there that's actually going to help someone. I know for me, like anytime I put out a piece of content or a piece of video, there's been plenty of videos where I put out, I'm like, I don't think there's that much value in that. And I'm like, maybe I should delete it. I start to like question myself and things like that. It's because the intention is to better somebody's life because they viewed that material, and I think if you always come from a place of genuine goodness when you're trying to put out material, I think that's another thing too. I think, when it comes to putting yourself on camera, I think you have to believe what you're saying, right? So if you're not believing what you're saying, I think one thing that I would tell people is ask yourself why. Are you not saying something that you truly believe? Number one. Number two, if you do truly believe it, there's no reason for you not to feel confident or comfortable with your message. I think
absolutely.
I think, and that's a real mental shift for people to be like, okay, I'm convicted. I am genuine at what I'm saying. And I'm giving the same advice that I would give to a family member or my parents or whoever it might be. I think another thing is, it's like, we were talking about earlier, I think it's like reps. I think the more you do it and the more you get on camera, you've been on camera a ton. I think on YouTube, we probably have almost 700 videos on our 2 channels combined.
You're a beast, man. That's a lot of content.
Well, thank you. But I go back and look at the original videos, and the comfort level was definitely not there like it is today. And I think it's just a repetition thing as well. I always tell people, don't expect yourself to be 100% comfortable and confident right off the bat. But the more you do it over time, it's just like a rep here, a rep there, and those muscles start to grow.
Absolutely. And what the biggest fear that's holding people back is they don't want to look bad. Well, if you don't try, then if you never even start, then you're never going to do it. And how are you going to be good at it? And one thing that I would like to go back to a second is, people might say like, okay, Josh, you're all about actionable content, right? So give me something to do out of this video right here. Do you mind if I give some people a short little exercise?
Not
Christian?
at all. Not at all.
Okay. So one of the things that I've learned, and I've spent over $200,000 in the last 18 months. So what is that? Like over 11 or 12,000 a month just on like personal development and sales skills and marketing. Like, it's a little bit crazy, but you know what? I enjoy it. So I have learned this from other people that are much smarter than me in this particular category, but it's all about talking to yourself on a daily basis, telling yourself what your reality is. And so, for example, we're talking about confidence on the phone, let's say, or confidence on video, like in a presentation, in a sales presentation. I believe that the people that are watching my video want what I'm selling before I even make the offer. I believe that. I believe people want, if I'm in my hometown, since we don't have Medicare Advantage, I'm not getting into that whole discussion, but I believe in Plan G Med Sup. Now, you can convince me otherwise, but I like that for people that don't have access to an MA plan. That's the plan that I'm going to sell them. And I believe in it. And so, you know why I believe that is every day on the way to work for months and months and months, I repeated to myself, I am a closer. People want what I am offering before I even make the offer. I'm charismatic. I'm magnetic. And it sounds cheesy and hokey, but I promise you put emotion into that every single day. And when you get to work, you get on the phone, nobody has a chance to even object to you because you know how to have a conversation and you know that you're the best fit for the job. And you know that I always do the right thing for the client. I always do the right thing for the client because I repeated that to myself 17,000 times in the mirror, looking into my own eyeballs. So when the time comes for me to do the right thing for the client or for me to do the wrong thing for the client, what do you think my brain is going to default to?
It's going to go what you trained it for.
When I have an opportunity to jump on a stage or to jump on a video to get new clients, to host a seminar about, Medicare 101, let's say, do you think I'm going to take the opportunity or not? Because I am a good public speaker. People want to hear what I have to say, right? That is so ingrained in me. And it didn't used to be. I physically ingrained that in my own brain. You do the same thing. Anyone that's at a high level, even if they have not done an exercise like this every day of their life, even people that knock mindset, They say, let's say they're a very big success, a CEO of a billion-dollar company. They say all that mindset stuff is crap. You don't need any of that. That person just doesn't know what they've done themselves. Mm-hmm. They have trained their brain through experiences. They just didn't do it on purpose, intentionally. They've trained themselves to have an ironclad mindset that they can't lose, that they absolutely are going to win. When I walk into the boardroom, people want to know me. I walk in and own the room because I'm me, and not in a cocky way, in a confident, self-worth way. And so I find it funny when people say that stuff's garbage. Those people just have never had to practice it. It came naturally for them, and it reinforced over time. Anyway, I just talked for like 5 minutes straight there, but going through and creating an ironclad mindset is a simple process. Most people just don't take the 10 minutes to do it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't believe, and I think you hit it right on the head. I don't believe people can be to a place where they're high performers and they've really gotten far in their specific field or aspirations without having immense self-belief and confidence. And I think what you said, a minute ago was very telling. It's not cockiness, it's confidence.
Absolutely.
One thing, I'll share a quick story if I may. So
absolutely.
The first day I ever met Josh in person was when we bumped into each other at the airport. We didn't know we were going to be there. And
right.
We ended up on the same plane flying to Medicare Con together, Justin Brock's event last year in 2021. And we ended up sitting together that night at a dinner. And so I was like, I got a lot of Josh that day, and Josh got a lot of Christian. And one thing, I remember us having a conversation about, and it's something that did stick with me from that dinner is, I remember us, we were sitting at dinner, we were talking with several other people too, like the Skanks and Michael Weller. There's a lot of really great people at that table. But I remember hearing you talk about something that is so spot on and so true. You were having a ton of success as an agency owner, as an insurance agent, as a salesperson, but also, starting to have a lot of success as a speaker and a trainer. And you were like, I believe that, I've been too humble from the standpoint that I'm limiting my own success. I'm putting myself more so in the background, and I need to be more confident in myself. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. And everybody should absolutely take that approach and that mindset, because you can't get through life being a timid little mouse. It's just not going to work. You have to, it's almost like what Steve Jobs said, right? You go through life, you try not to bump into the wall. Sometimes you have to bump into a wall here and there and let the wall know you're there.
Absolutely. Well, I love that topic, Christian. I love that we met just randomly in the airport. I'm like, I saw a Humana mask because we had to wear masks back then. Yeah, what a joke. Anyway, so we're going through the airport, and I see this Humana mask on a young guy that looked like Christian Brindle, and I go, that has to be Christian. But anyway, yeah, it is interesting. I was taught at one time, actually by one of my mentors, Marshall Silver. He's very big into the mindset stuff. And one thing that I really took from him is he says confidence allows greatness in other people, and arrogance doesn't. Cockiness is look at me, look how good I am, and don't you wish that you were me. That is a terrible mindset. But confidence, true confidence of a leader, of a person of integrity, they do not diminish themselves to make other people, like them better, which is a mindset a lot of people have, that they can't be too good or other people will be, won't like them anymore. And sometimes that's true sometimes, but confidence says, this is my life. This is what I've learned. I would love to share this. And you know what? I would love to help you in any area that I can, because you can do this. It allows for greatness in that person. And so it's really stuck with me. I'm constantly learning from people that are miles ahead of me. And that's what keeps you humble, in a sense that you can never outgrow the world and always learn from other people. But if you have something to teach, something to share, then share it, because those people need what you have to say. And whether you think they do or whether you think they don't, that's your own self-confidence problem. Get rid of it, right? And Christian, you just get out there, and I can't believe how much content you put out there. It's is an amazing thing for this entire audience. I mean, I followed you long before I was a fanboy. I followed you long before we ever met in person. It's because you're so gracious of giving what you know and making it available, even if a lot of it's free. And then you have some paid stuff that if you're not in Christian's paid stuff, get in there. It's not that expensive for the value. I mean, it's completely, in my opinion, Christian, and everyone's going to hate me for saying this, you're undervaluing what that's worth from a price point perspective, but that's a discussion for a different day.
I appreciate
but it's true. There's just you sharing that to the audience is so valuable. And so I commend you for that. And sure, I'm modeling some of my stuff off of, your content approach. I heard you talk about, feed the beast and how you need to produce content. And everyone should be doing that to help their business, but it also helps you. It helps your self-confidence, right? As a speaker, everybody is a speaker. If you're selling insurance to another human being, you are a speaker to that person. You are an authority in their eyes. So stand up straight and act like it. That's what I had to learn kind of the hard way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I appreciate all your kind words. I mean, I think one thing that, I think is always exciting about life is no matter how good you are, there's always somebody that you can learn something from. There's always something you can take something from, and there's things that I've learned from you and I've taken from you. There's things I've learned from, Justin Brock and, take your pick, Eric Fierro. There's a lot of things I've learned from you guys that has been able to help me in my life, in my business and things like that. And one thing that I find, super fascinating is super successful people take that approach. And and I think that kind of goes back to what your point a second ago about the difference between confidence and cockiness, right? The difference between arrogance and self-confidence. Because if that super successful person was coming from a place of arrogance or cockiness, they would have the attitude and the thought process that I don't need to help from anybody else. I know everything. I don't need to learn anything else. But it comes from a place of confidence, but they still have the humbleness to essentially know that, hey, I can pick up a nugget. I can pick up something from this other person. I can learn from this other person. I can go to this retreat. I can read this book and I can learn something and take something out of it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, for we talked about Thrive earlier. Why do you think that the likes of someone like Christian and myself and Joanna and, Eric Fierro, and why would you think that people that have already made it, and by most people's standards, why would they go to an event? Because their life is awesome. Well, because everybody that goes to one of these events, everyone that's going to Six Figure, everyone that's going to Medicare Con, these events are about content. And it's also about the fact that I get one idea at the bar talking to Christian, and I'm like, I just never thought of that before. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of similar strengths, Christian and I, and all the people that are going to be going there. But we also have a lot of differences that we can learn from and build on. And that's what I love about marketing, not to change the subject, but I love marketing because everything that you learn stacks. It stacks on each other. So just because I have a great way of marketing, if I learn something from Christian, I just implement it into that particular market. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I bet that could fit right here in what I already know how to do. So it's an asset. Anytime you train your mind to learn something of value, it's an asset that is literally going to pay you dividends the rest of your life. It's pretty hard to find many assets that do that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, there's no better investment than in you, right? And I mean, you're living proof of that. You spent what, 200,000 in 18 months? Just for full, transparency with the audience, I have not spent 200,000 on myself in 18 months. But
that's because he doesn't need it.
No, not at all. No, but I definitely think it's a great thing to invest in yourself because no one can take it away from you. You buy a stock, it can go to zero. You buy Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, it can go to zero, right? You buy an NFT, probably going to zero. No, I'm just kidding. But
I'm not saying don't do any of those, but I am saying absolutely when you put money into your own certainty of success. I mean, the insurance industry can go away tomorrow. Right. And I don't have a doubt in the world that we'd pick it up and should be a bummer. It'd be a bummer. but we have what it takes to go pick it up and find something new. And we'll be right back to the same revenue, we'll be right back to the same amount of learning curve. You know what? I have a belief that it might actually, if that did happen, everything, and I write this down, I'd write it down right now and say it every day because I do, everything happens for a reason and it benefits me. So insurance world goes away tomorrow. There's no more commission in Medicare, let's say. None. I almost believe in a weird way that I'd come out on top, like better off in a very odd way, because you'd use those skill sets you've developed and you'd go and you'd find something that you could put your energy and effort into. And it would be you have to do it. And that kind of a mindset, a lot of people don't have. And I'm not saying, oh, look at me. I'm saying that I've trained it to truly deep down believe this is going to be successful. We're going on a huge advertising campaign right now in our office. It's going to be 4 times more of a budget for 2022 than we did last year. It's a little bit crazy, but deep down, I am certain it's going to win. I am. I'm certain I'm going to put my money where my mouth's at. I'm not pulling the plug. And if it doesn't work month 1, it's not, oh no, look at that ad that just failed. Most people do that in marketing. Oh no. Yeah. I'm going to double down. I know this is going to work. I'm going to see it through. It is going to win, and I'm going to make it win. And that's something that brings you a lot of peace instead of anxiety. I used to have a lot of anxiety, and now I've trained it to where in that particular area, I don't. It's going to win. It's going to work. So that is, you can't really put a price tag on something like that. That's living with a lot of peace, a lot of confidence.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to kind of piggyback on the marketing topic. I mean, one thing I've learned and I've observed through any marketer that I've ever studied or, been able to be around, yourself included, is I think a really important thing when it comes to marketing is if you come up with a campaign and you say, okay, we're going to run this campaign for a quarter, right? Or we're going to run this campaign for 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, 6 months, whatever it might be, that they commit to it.
Yes.
And they don't back out of it. And it's almost like, they're like, I committed to it. And even if it completely flops and I'm never going to see that marketing budget again, I don't care. I'm committed to this ad because I'm going to see it through. That's one thing I've learned, over the years. And I think you hit it right on the head there. A lot of people, after 2 or 3 weeks of, if it wasn't performing the way they wanted it to, they'd pull the plug and they'd be like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board and redo everything.
Yeah. And I've done that. I've done that a lot. I'm guilty as anybody,
me too.
That I've done that in the past, and still the temptation to do that still hits every time because you have an expectation for it to be huge. And then if it's not, you are disappointed. There's a temptation to quit, but you just remind yourself, no, that's not how this works. It's going to win. I just got to give it time. So your advice there, Christian, is extremely good for anybody that maybe has not run ads before. They don't know what we're talking about. Maybe they do a lot of referrals. You don't understand that anxiety of when you first start running ads. You got to get rid of that. Or just commit right now that I'm going to commit for 3 months, or like you said, 60, 90, 6 months, whatever it is. And I'm going to see it through to the end. And then I'm going to start tweaking it, and making it better. But people see that all the time. Actually, I'll tell you one thing, the people that will benefit the most from Thrive, because it's kind of a combination of what we're talking about today, the mindset, the marketing, the sales skills, are oddly enough people that are in that 6-figure range already, like 75,000 at least on up, is really the people that are going to get an extreme amount of value out of it. And the reason for that is they're in this launching pad. Am I allowed to speak about this today? I know it's off topic.
Absolutely, go.
But people that are in that, climbing into 6 figures or just over 6 figures, that maybe have not done a lot of thought into marketing and all that stuff. And they've really just done a great job of putting their nose to the grindstone. They did everything correctly. They went out and hustled, and now they've got, $120,000 in renewals or $300,000 in renewals, right? They're at a high level. When you step into that, you now have to start thinking differently if you want to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And you have to start utilizing paid advertising and branding and getting your message out there on a scalable level. And if that's you, that's the people I work with the most, is someone that wants to go to that next level, is a little nervous because they've never done ads. They've never done hiring agents. They haven't done anything like that. And what's funny is you have to flip that mindset and go, I now have the money. I used to not. But so many people are stuck in that I don't have any money, even though when they do. I do have money now that I can invest in my business to grow it to the next level. I could afford to put $10,000 into an advertising campaign and learn how to do that and make it work and then scale it. But we got to make sure that when you're in that launching pad, that you actually take the leap. You know, you have something to risk now. You have something to lose. So it's really easy to say, I'm not going to risk the biscuit. I'm not going to do it. I like my little biscuit over here. No, put a little piece of it on the line. You're not going to go broke. You're not, if you're making 200,000 a year and you only need 100,000 to live, that means you have 100,000 you could invest in a wise way to grow your business to the next level. Because you're not putting your family on the line for it. So those people that are in that category always do the best because they are in the launching pad already to start using the 7-figure mindset. But if you are at 20,000 or just starting or 30,000 of renewals right now, then you need to hustle. You don't have money to spend on marketing at that high level. So you're playing a different game. Right. You don't need a 7-figure mindset. You need a 6-figure mindset. I'm going to hustle. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to get referrals. I'm going to reinvest back in my business as much as I possibly can. And then someday when I make it to that level, then I can start thinking about, stepping away from, every single day, 12-hour days. Then I can start thinking about shifting some of that to an admin and to other agents, right? So I just see so many people getting caught up in which, people that have never done anything want to think they don't have to do any work. Right. And people that get to 200,000 in renewals think that they've got to do all the work all the time and never, ever think about scaling. So it's just a funny phenomenon that I've realized.
and I've noticed it as well, and I'm glad that you brought that up. I mean, one thing, and I want to be respectful of your time. We'll close it out in a few minutes here, but
Sure.
But it's such a great topic that you bring up because one thing I've talked about a ton on this channel, and the audience probably tired of me saying it. They probably want to throw up at me bringing it up again. But but in the insurance business, particularly, a client is always going to cost you one of two assets: time or money. When you're first starting out, like you said, you don't have any business yet, you don't have any income yet, you don't have the money to give, but you have the time. And once you've broken through that 6-figure barrier, maybe you're at $150, $250, $300, like you said, whatever the case might be. Then you have a lot more responsibilities on your plate. You have clients to take care of. Maybe you've hired an assistant. You have to manage that person, right, on a day-to-day basis. You don't have as much time to give as you used to, but you have more money to give. So it's almost like a scale, right? It goes back and forth. And where you're at in your business, it's going to vary in terms of what asset you're able to give to continue to grow. And I think some people get to a place where they break through, they want to keep going, but they're like, well, I've given all of this sweat equity to get here. I haven't put much money in and I don't really want to. And they just stay right where they are, which if that's what they want, that's fine. That's a comfortable living, but you're never going to reach your full potential.
Right. Absolutely. And I find that it goes back to kind of a belief or a mindset. One thing that really helped me, because I don't like to spend money. I didn't in the past, even if it was good to spend money on my business, I did not like to do it. I'm a saver. Yeah. And one thing that I had to convince my mind of is, okay, let's say it costs me $150,000 a year to live the life that I want. Okay. Let's say in this particular scenario, you're talking to someone that's making, let's say they've been in the business 25 years and they're making $300,000 a year. Well, if that person needs $150,000 to live and they're making $300,000, the mindset to have is, as long as I don't dip below the 150 mark, I shouldn't have a second thought. I should have a second thought about reinvesting my money in something I truly believe is going to work, but I just don't know because there is a risk there, right? Yeah. Many people don't have that thought process. They go, well, I don't want to lose 20 grand. Okay, you can't afford to think that way. You got to afford to think, I'm gonna do what I think is going to work. And if that 20,000 goes out the window, I'm going to double down because I have the money to do it. And I'm going to find out, how do I scale to the next level? I'm going to learn from other people. I'm going to invest my money in marketing. I'm going to brand myself. And if I drop below 150, then I'm starting to dip into my family's money. And at that point, I can be a little bit anxious about it and I can start to really tighten the belt. because I don't want to risk it my family or my house or anything that I would give me anxiety. I'm only going to risk the excess. And that has been just a game changer for me. It makes life so much more peaceful.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good stuff. I mean, that is really, really valuable. And I encourage all of you guys to make sure that you remember that right there. If you take anything from this video, I think that's definitely a good thing to take from this video, because it took me a long time to learn that. And it's spot on and it's true. Like I said, Josh, I want to be respectful of your time. We could keep you on here all day and just pick your brain and take things from you. But
we always do that when we get together. We go way over, we're into a half an hour, and then we're like 50 minutes in and we're like, oh, okay. I thought we're at 15.
Thank you for your time. And if anybody watched this and they just wanted to connect with you, of course, we're going to throw the link to Thrive down in the description of this. So anybody that wants to get in on that, it'll be down in the description of the video. But how can they connect with Josh if they wanted to?
Absolutely. The best way, I'm pretty old school. I'm not on a lot of these, what these youngsters are on these days, but I'm on Facebook. So add me as a friend on Facebook, message me on Messenger. That'd be a great way to get in touch with me. I hope to see you at Thrive again. There's 7 free tickets left, so those will probably be eaten up by the end of the day, I'm going to guess. And so get your ticket for that. And we've talked a lot about mindset today, but make sure you go to the link, because it's the event is very little about that. I mean, there is a lot of that in a couple sessions, but most of it is going to be doubling down on the marketing side and growing our business that way. Just making sure that every lesson we look at is through the frame of how do I make sure that I also am paying attention to my whole life, not just my business. And so I'm extremely excited to see you there, Christian. Thanks for coming. You're going to get a surprise spot to speak for a few minutes. So you don't know that, but now you do. Wink, wink. So I'm really excited. Anyway, thanks for the video. Click the link, grab your ticket, and we'll see you there.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you made it all the way to the end, you're the real rock stars. You guys know this. Make sure to drop a like in the video if you enjoyed it. It helps me know that you like content like this, and we'll keep producing more like it. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already. Hit the notification bell next to it so you're notified when we upload. And until next time, here's to your success and your abundance. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Christian. Thanks, guys.